Hey, 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 fam bam. What's up? What's up? What's up? It's your girl Santina back with another video. So I hope everybody's doing well. I hope everybody's week is going well, and everyone had a wonderful weekend. God is so good, and it's a beautiful day. It's still kind of chilly here in Ohio, but it's still beautiful. The sun is shining, and I'm just in good spirits today. So, you guys, today, I wanted to talk about being legally blind, going to a predominantly black school in comparison to going to a predominantly white school. And what brought this to my attention is I was listening to this lady today. She had did a video and she was talking about putting her son in a new school. Excuse me, guys. She was talking about putting her son in a new school because they moved, and the place where she was moving to, I guess she wanted to put her son in a predominantly white school, and this woman is black. So she had expressed how when her son was going to a black school, how he got made fun of, how people bullied him, how children bullied him, and you know the stuff that he went through going to a black school versus going to a predominantly white school, where he didn't have all of those problems. And some people, they were upset with her for her feeling that way. And she even said in her experience going to a predominantly black school versus going to a predominantly white school growing up, it was different. It was kind of the same for her, the same as it is for her son. She got picked on going to a black school, and she didn't really get picked on as much going to a predominantly white school. So people were in the comments, and I guess they were pretty upset with her. The black people were pretty upset with her for feeling that way. Like, how can you feel that your black child, your African American child, is better off going to a white school? In some people's mind, that's like, you're you turning on your black community, or you turning on your black people. You know what I'm saying? And so I guess that pretty much was probably why people were so upset, because it's like, hey, you're supposed to stick, you black, you're supposed to stick with the black people. Forget, what you think about your son going to a white school. You're supposed to stick with, whatever the black people are doing. And there's nothing wrong with supporting your community, whether it's black, white, Hispanic, whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with that. But at the same time, if your truth is your truth, then that's what it is. I didn't feel like this lady was turning her nose up against her black community, or turning her or turning against the blacks, the black people, and rooting for the white people. It wasn't nothing like that. It was pretty much just like, hey, this was my experience, and I can't help what my experience was. And if you're mad about it, then I don't know what to tell you. Maybe your experience is different, and if it is, then that's your experience. But she was just expressing her experience from when she was growing up, and then to where her son is growing up. And to be honest, I, had this, I went through the same thing. I 100% agree with her. Now, yes, I love my black people. Yes, I don't have an issue with, supporting black owned businesses, and you know what I'm saying, doing whatever I can do to lift my people up or whatever in my own way. I don't have an issue with that. But just because you have a better experience with a different ethnicity of people, it doesn't mean that you're turning on your people. It just is what it is. Like, for instance, when I was growing up, I was raised in the hood. You know what I'm saying? Everybody who has been following us for a while, you guys know that I grew up in foster care. I grew up in foster homes, and I was adopted to a real wicked lady, and lived with her for 9 years. But I went to predominantly black schools. I went to Marquette Elementary School. That was mostly black. I went to Remus Robinson Middle School. That was predominantly black. And I went to Osborne High School, and that was predominantly black. I think, yeah, Osborne was like, it was black, like black, black. Okay. I think I remember maybe one or two white people that went to that school. And the white people that went there, they were trying so hard to fit in with all the black people. So it was like, it was what it was. That was a straight up black school. And pretty much my experience going to all of these schools that I just named, I got picked on. I got bullied because, I was legally blind and people could tell. You know what I'm saying? The glasses that I wore, they could tell, how my eyes move. You know what I'm saying? And people made fun of that. And it was tough growing up in the hood and going to these schools that I went to. It was tough, because of, not because of my race or anything, but just because, hey, I can't help that I'm legally blind. And there are things that I have to have adjusted for me so that I'm able to function like the rest of the kids. Nobody cared about that. It was just funny because I had to use large print books. It was funny because I had to wear glasses. It was funny because I had to use a CCTV to read and to, be able to see the small print. That was funny to children, And even in those schools, people pushed me, people hit me, people made fun of me. If there was a boy that liked me, everybody laughed at him. He got made fun of. Like, it was like I was the laughing stock of the school, even in high school, I went through this all through elementary, middle, and high school. And it was tough. It was hard to have friends that were not, that did not have a disability, or, because people made fun of them for even wanting to deal with me or talk to me. If a guy liked me, he had to pretend in front of other people that he didn't like me because he'll get clowned by everybody. Like, it was tough, and then on top of that, being in the abusive foster home that I was in, I didn't wear the nicest clothes. I didn't wear the trendy clothes that people wore. Going to a black school where I was growing up, and this is just my experience. My experience is not everybody's experience. So if you disagree, then that's fine. You have your experience. I'm just going off of mine. I was picked on because I didn't have on name brand shoes, name brand clothes. I didn't wear the latest hairstyles and things like that. People made fun of me. I had Payless shoes on. I had, Walmart, Kmart, all these, different clothes that were not name brand. I didn't have Nike and Fila and all these other name brands that people had on. And then the people that wore the stuff, sometimes something ends up happening where their stuff gets stolen. Somebody will get shot over some shoes. Somebody will get shot over a coat or, whatever. So it was even tough for those people that wore those name brand things because your stuff might get taken. You might get robbed. You might get, So it was tough, but you were cool if you had these things, and I didn't have those things. Payless shoes, even though I love Payless, I wish Payless was back today. I love Payless, but the shoes that my foster mom would buy me, it would be like the ugliest shoes. Payless had some really nice shoes, but she would give me, like, I remember one time she got me some blue, they look like blue jean shoes, but they look like house shoes. People made fun of me for them shoes. And then the boots that I wore, they were like the little kitty snow boots for the little kids. People clown me for that. Sometimes she would make me wear them all day at school. She wouldn't let me bring a change of shoes to school. So people made fun of me. This is high school, And I didn't have the nicest clothes. So on top of me being visually impaired or legally blind, that was a pinpoint for them to laugh at me and, hit me or push me and stuff like that. Not only that, but I also had on clothes that were not the trendiest clothes. So it was tough for me growing up going to a black school. It was tough. It was terrible, you know. Then when I moved to a different foster home, I think I was like 16 going on 17. I was 16. I moved to the city um Monroe County, Monroe City, which is like 45 minutes south of Detroit. And that city is predominantly white. Yes, they have their black community, you know what I'm saying? There was a nice amount of black people there, but it was like black people lived over here and all the white people lived over there, and it had a lot of prejudice things going on, like with the adults. That's really where most of the stuff that I went through with people being racist or whatever, it happened mostly with the adults. Now when I went to this school, Monroe High School, like I said, this was a predominantly white school. There was a handful of black people, and I didn't get made fun of. Nobody made fun of me because I had a large print book. It seemed like most of the kids were understanding. I had somebody that, when we had to read something or take notes off the board, there were people who even volunteered to take my notes for me. You know what I'm saying? Or share their notes with me. And sure, people probably made fun of me. You know what I'm saying? Sure, people probably talked about me and things like that. But I didn't experience it personally myself. And I went there for a year and a half. My half of my 11th grade year and my whole 12th grade year. I didn't get picked on because I couldn't see that well. And then the way the kids dress in this particular white school, I know they're not all the same. So I'm just talking, like I said, I'm just talking about my experience. They wore jogging pants and hoodies. It wasn't about any name brand stuff. They wear their little flip flops with their socks on, jogging pants and hoodies, or pajama pants and hoodies, and they still do that today. My son growing up, when he went to a predominantly white school, that's how they dressed too. They'll be walking around. The first time I seen my son walking around, going to school with some pajama jogging pants on, I'm like, they still do this? So he didn't have to worry about getting made fun of because of his clothes. And when he went to black schools, predominantly black schools, they did make fun of him because I was a mom who was on a fixed income. I couldn't afford to get him all this name brand stuff. So yeah, people did make fun of him. They made fun of his haircuts. They made fun of his clothes, his coat, his shoes, all kind of stuff, And then when he went to a predominantly white school, which was in Morrisville, North Carolina, he was cool. He had friends. He had black friends, white friends. You know what I'm saying? He was comfortable. Nobody made fun of him, And I know that there are schools out there. I'm not saying that white schools are better for black kids. I'm not saying that at all, because there are some schools out there that do bully black kids because of their race. They do bully black kids because of their hair or because of the way that they talk, or, whatever the case may be. There are schools out there that's like that, So I'm not trying to say, oh, it's better for your child to go to a white school versus going to a black school. Not saying that at all. I'm just expressing my experience because of what the lady was talking about and how harsh people were, how harsh the black people were in her comments. And I'm like, well, shoot, I had the same experience she had. So I can't even hate on what she's talking about. I can see how it can, make black people feel like, oh, she's turning on us, trying to make it like it's better for her black kid to go to a white school. I can understand people feeling how they feel, but hey, her truth is her truth, my truth is my truth, and your truth is your truth. You know what I'm saying? If your children had a good experience going to black schools or predominantly black schools, then great. I'm not denying that or trying to say no, that's not true. I mean, everybody has their own experience. This was just mine and my son's experience. So, you know, it's just it is what it is for everybody. Some people, like I said, they didn't have a problem being black, going to a black school. They were popular, they had a lot of friends, or maybe they weren't popular, but nobody messed with them. They just did their thing and graduated and didn't have any issues. That's fine. But some people who become a target, it's tough for them. And I was a target because I had a vision problem. I was a target because I wore, glasses for blind people. I was a target because I didn't dress like everybody else. And my foster mom purposely did that. Like, I think she really liked the fact that people made fun of me. And then when I moved to Monroe and went to the predominantly white school, I was able to dress a little better. I was able to have my hair done, you know what I'm saying? Because the foster mom that I had, she wasn't wicked like, my adopted parent. So I was able to wear little cute clothes and stuff. But when I went to the school, people had on jogging pants and hoodies. So I didn't have to focus on the way that I dressed or the way that I did my hair. Man, them white children, they wash their hair, put some conditioner in it or some mousse, whatever they do. They shake their hair out, and go to school. So I didn't really have to put any effort or emphasis on the way that I looked because everybody just was chilling, So that's my experience. I hope, hey, I hope it doesn't bother anybody, but I'm just saying this was my experience. Your experience is your experience. And if you had a great experience going to an all black school and your children have a great experience going to an all black school, then kudos to you. That's great, I'm not trying to turn on anybody or trying to make it seem like one ethnicity is better than the other, or white people would treat black people better than black people treat each other. But that was just my experience. When I was going to a white school, I didn't get bullied and picked on and hit, and you know what I'm saying? I'm sure people talked about me. I'm sure people laughed at me at times, but it wasn't anybody's focus. Hey, let's go pick on the black blind girl. It wasn't like that for me when I went to the white school. That's just my experience. In my experience, it was better going to a white school than it was going to a black school for me. Okay? So I just wanted to share that because I felt like when the lady was talking about that, I'm like, man, that's true. Let me give my experience. So I hope you guys understand. I hope it doesn't cause any kind of crazy division or anything like that. Like I said, it's just my truth, my story, and my experience. And that's just that. So I hope you liked the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, and follow, and all that good, wonderful stuff on Facebook and YouTube, as well as TikTok. All right, you guys. And I would love to hear your comments if you have something you want to add to it, or even if you feel like what I'm saying is wrong or whatever the case may be. Feel free to put your comment in the comment section. I would love to read it and respond and, whatever. So thank you guys so much again for watching. I pray you have a wonderful rest of your day. And let's just keep everything positive, all right? All right, I love you guys, and I will see you on the next video. Bye.